Author Sandra Wilson here in the Kindness Kangaroo Library for another Storytime session. Today we'll be reading Manny's Flight, written by me, Sandra Wilson, and illustrated by my friend, Jayson Tench. Now, Jayson and I have worked together before on a previous book called Gnomes of the Round Mushroom. That's why I'm dressed like a mushroom. And in this book, we introduced a certain number of gnomes and talked a little bit about their character. For today's story, we need to know about two of the gnomes in this book, Cloud the Creative and Trunk the Tolerant, because we use those two gnomes and put them into this story of Manny's Flight. As always, in the description below, you will find a link so that you can get your own copy of today's storybook. All right, here we go. Manny's Flight. Manny dreamed of being able to fly, but many believed he shouldn't even try. The dream of flying was just make-believe talk. After all, Manny could barely even walk. Manny would spend hours listening to Cloud, who always recited stories out loud. He'd speak of stars in the night sky, making Manny more desperate to give it a try. Trunk, who liked to make things out of wood, always told Manny that he should follow your dreams. They will take you far. They may even take you to a faraway star. Trunk crafted a rocket so Manny could pretend to fly to the moon with all his friends. Manny would play in it all day and all night, imagining the day that he would take flight. When walking got harder for Manny to do, he was given a sugar glider named Hugh. This animal was trained to help Manny out, bring things to him, and carry him about. On Hugh, Manny was able to soar, and his dream to fly became bigger than before. So with Hugh's help, he went off to learn, but to the wood he never did return. People thought he'd come around when he learned he should stay on the ground. But years went by, and not a word, although we believe someone heard. Because now when we gather to hear Cloud's tales, he shares stories about a gnome who sails in a rocket, not a boat, not needing to walk because in space you can float. And gathered listening to Cloud talk is a little gnome who struggles to walk, whose eyes light up with stories of space, and with it the spark of a dream to chase. So that's Manny's Flight by Sandra Wilson, illustrated by Jayson Tench. And we created this story. We both have a friend who has to use a wheelchair, and we wanted to sort of have him be able to connect to a character. So Manny having trouble walking and eventually having a support animal to help him move around is sort of a nod to Sam. But also we wanted to show obstacles in his path that didn't stop him from following his dream, because we think that's important as well, to always follow your dream. So what do you dream of doing? And, it could just be anything. If it's going out in space or exploring the ocean, maybe it's, visiting a special place. Maybe you want to visit the rainforest. Maybe it's a skill you want to really be able to learn. You'd like to be able to build powerful robots, or, maybe it's a specific hobby that you want to get really good at. Maybe you would like to, be able to play a musical instrument. What do you really dream of doing? Sometimes our dreams are small because we're not really sure, and then we can move a little bit towards our dream, and as we get a little closer, maybe our dream grows a little bigger and a little bigger. I always had a dream of writing, and that's what I ended up doing, but each time my dream gets bigger and bigger as to what I'm going to write and what I'm going to do with my writing. So, dreams are fun to follow. Dreams are fun to imagine, even if it's a little bit make-believe. That's okay too, because sometimes we can utilize those ideas in forming what we actually end up doing in our world. So I'd like you to think about a dream that you have and see how you can put that into a story. What kind of obstacles do you think you might get in the way? Maybe you have a dream to do something, but they haven't invented the thing that you need to do that yet. So that's a bit of an obstacle. So how would you get past that? Would you figure out how to invent it yourself? Would you find a friend who knows how to do some inventions? Or do you find a workaround? Or, still be able to follow it, but, walk around that obstacle and, until you get to the next. So make sure there's some obstacles, because when we talk about a dream journey, it's not usually that easy to just go from here to the dream. It has to be a little bit difficult. We have to really want it, and we have to work hard for it, because then we appreciate it so much more when we get it. So I hope you enjoy writing a story about your dream, and I hope you join me next time for another Storytime session. Bye!